A day after an Indian space research organization report revealed that Uttarakhand's Joshimath saw a rapid sinking of 5.4 centimeters in just 12 days, the National Disaster Management Authority has barred government institutions from interacting with the media and sharing data on social media regarding ground subsidence. Let's go across to Neeta Sharma for more on this. Neeta, is this a gag order? Can we call it that? And what, based on what grounds has the organization said this, and who took this decision, or where was this issue highlighted or first brought up?
See, Sarah, it is an NDMA order. The member has come out with this order in which they have categorically said that they need to sensitize the organization, and this order has been marked to various, about dozen odd, all special organizations, which include even the DRDO and even the IIT Roorkee. These are the people who were opining about what is happening in Joshimath. So now this order clearly states that they need to refrain, and only the order and the only opinion that they can give is to the government of India. As far as the government is concerned, they have come out with the explanation that since there are multiple agencies and ministries working on various issues related to Joshimath, whether it's evacuation or whether it's about relocation or whether it's about what happened. So to avoid the confusion, because various expert groups are coming out with various explanations, so to avoid this confusion, this order has been issued by NDMA. Sarah?
All right, to avoid this confusion. Thanks so much for that, Neeta, joining us on the phone line there. Now, meanwhile, let's go across to Sam Daniel in Chennai, because after that furor created over his controversial comments, a member of Tamil Nadu's ruling DMK party has been suspended for publicly abusing and threatening the governor. This amidst an ongoing row between the two sides that spiked this week over a speech in the assembly. And speaking at a party gathering, Shivaji Krishnamurthy had attacked the governor for skipping parts of the speech written for him by the state government, as is a custom, and it dropped references to leaders like B.R. Ambedkar and Periyar. The DMK member said that if the governor can't take Ambedkar's name, he should go to Kashmir so that he can be gunned down by extremists.
இந்தியாவுக்கு சட்டத்தை எழுதி கொடுத்த எங்க முப்பாட்ட டாக்டர் அம்பேத்கர் பேரை சொல்ல மாட்டேன்னு சொன்னான்னா அவனை செருப்பால் அடிப்பேன்னு சொல்ற உரிமை எனக்கு இருக்கா இல்லையா? அரசியலமைப்பு சட்டத்தை சொல்லி தானே பதவி ஏத்துக்கிட்டேன். அதை எழுதி கொடுத்தது எங்க தாத்தா அம்பேத்கர் இல்ல. அவர் பேரை சொல்ல மாட்டேன்னா நீ போடா காஷ்மீருக்கு, நாங்களே தீவிரவாதி அனுப்புறோம், அவன் உன்னை சுட்டு கொல்லட்டும்.
DMK, while it formed its party, for the past 60 years, they have been using this foul language, filthy language, and they are known for it. This culture of DMK, it is there in the DNA of DMK. This particular Shivaji Krishnamurthy and also the organizing secretary of DMK, Mr. R.S. Bharati, they both have abused in a filthy language about the governor, Mr. Ravi. In fact, they have said that they will kill Mr. R.N. Ravi. In fact, now we are surprised that whether DMK would have any links with the terrorists.
Let's go across to Sam Daniel for more on this. Sam, throughout the day on Saturday, the DMK had distanced itself from these remarks. They had said that the party respected the governor, they respected the governor's office. These were hateful remarks, but just should be seen and are only an individual's personal comments or personal speech. What brought about this change and led to the suspension eventually?
Sarah, it became untenable after the governor's office filed a police complaint seeking action against him under Section 120 of the IPC. And after that, the DMK party has issued a statement saying that this person has brought disrepute to the party, violated the party discipline, and that's why they have suspended him both from the primary membership and from the other positions he held. There was also a complaint from the BJP to the DGP. And earlier, of course, they had distanced from the statements made by the speaker. And this is the second such incident in the recent past. And another unverified video also shows a former MP making such derogatory remarks against the governor. But the larger picture, of course, is the kind of sentiment expressed across Tamil Nadu, particularly after the governor skipped those officially approved parts in the speech in the assembly. Secondly, also suggesting that Tamilagam could be an appropriate name for the state against the present Tamil Nadu. Sarah.
All right, Sam Daniel, thank you for those details. Meanwhile, a day after the man accused of urinating on a woman on an Air India flight claimed that he didn't do so and it was his elderly co-passenger who urinated on herself, the woman has come out completely rubbishing this claim. She's called it completely false and concocted. She says, also points out that the allegations are in complete contradiction, a complete volte-face of the statements made and the pleaded case made by the accused in his bail application. The complainant has said that her intention on going public with this throughout was to ensure that there is an institutional change made, so that no other individual has to go through this horrendous experience. However, she says instead of being remorseful for this utterly disgusting act committed by him, the accused here has instead adopted a campaign of spreading misinformation and falsities with the intent of further harassing the victim. The accused, Shankar Mishra, made the stunning claim in response to a notice by the Sessions Court. He was arrested last week after these accusations came to light, more than a month after the incident, which took place in late November. He'd been on the run from authorities for days. He's also been sacked by his company, the US banking giant Wells Fargo. He was allegedly drunk during the journey from New York to New Delhi on the 26th of November, unzipped his pants, urinated on a 72-year-old woman seated in business class. His co-passenger on this flight had spoken to us on NDTV and gave his observations that Mishra had been drunk on that flight. All right, now there are these wonderful images of snowfall in places like Shimla, in Mandi, in Doda, in Jammu and Kashmir, and everyone's enjoying these images. But what it has meant for the national capital is anything but wonderful. A cold wave is predicted to hit Delhi and the national capital region next week, where temperatures are expected to go as low as 3 degrees Celsius. And the authorities are, after bone-chilling nights of the past several weeks, the IMD's prediction means that things could get worse for Delhi residents. In fact, the weather department is now warning people of frostbite, asking them to limit their outdoor activities.
This is how 63-year-old Rafiq, a sanitation worker in Delhi, is preparing for another spell of the capital's longest cold wave in nearly 8 years. The only refuge for migrant workers like him is this tiny shack.
इसी के सहारे हम रहते, इसी के सहारे ये सुबह काम पे जाते, आके जाने का टाइम फिर ऐसे ही लपेट के काम पे चले जाते, फिर रात को शाम को बस अपना बिस्तर लगाए ऊपर ये पन्नी टांग देते.
With only temporary relief from the biting cold, severe chills are on the horizon for states across North India from Rajasthan to Delhi. After a heavy snowfall alert for the Himalayan states, the cold wave is set to return to the northern plains with temperatures expected to fall to freezing lows. In Delhi, for example, the minimum temperatures may fall to 0 to 2 degrees Celsius, nearly 3 notches below the season's normal.
It will not be any record-breaking temperature during the ensuing 3 to 5 days. Of course, there will be fall in temperature by 4 to 6 degrees Celsius over the plains of northwest India and adjoining central India. There could be cold wave conditions in some places over Punjab, Haryana, Chandigarh, Delhi, West UP, northern parts of Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh. But however, the last week intense cold wave spell, what we have realized, if we compare with that, it will be less intense and also it will have the less duration.
Dense to very dense fog is also predicted across the national capital. But what you see in Delhi is not fog, but toxic smog. The dipping temperatures, Delhi continues to breathe air that kills. Unfortunately, the air quality panel's efforts are too little, too late. Vedant Agarwal for NDTV.
And a massive avalanche was captured on camera in Jammu and Kashmir's Sonmarg on Saturday. This is the second incident reported in this popular hill station in the last 2 days. The avalanche struck near the barracks of a construction company. It caused huge panic among the workers there. The video shows massive clouds of snow hurling towards the barracks, where people, terrified by the sight, rush into the building screening. There's a tsunami of snow that completely engulfs the barracks as people wait it out. On Thursday, 2 labourers were killed after a snow avalanche was reported in Sonmarg, video of which was widely shared online. And it's been a fallout of the poor air quality in the national capital at this time of the year over the past few years, and now it's a phenomena that's being reported in Mumbai too. The air quality in Mumbai is in the very poor category, and the continuously deteriorating air has taken a toll on the health of children residing in the financial capital of India.
No breathing easy for young residents in Mumbai. With India's maximum city witnessing its longest ever poor to very poor air quality index, children are being rushed to hospitals with respiratory challenges. 11-year-old Rudra has been brought to hospital multiple times this season as his asthma got out of hand.
अभी थोड़ा ये क्लाइमेट के वजह से, मौसम की वजह से उसको एकदम ज्यादा होता है और स्कूल जाता है, भागता है, दौड़ता है, बाहर का हवा लगता है, प्रदूषण की वजह से उसको ज्यादा तकलीफ होता है और इतना तकलीफ होता है कि एडमिट ही करना पड़ता है। सांस फूलता है एकदम और बहुत तकलीफ होता है, दम लगना चालू होता है, बाद में बुखार आता है, बॉडी पेन होता है, ये सब बीमारी चालू होता है, ज्यादा करके सांस फूलता है।
7-year-old Amish has suffered prolonged and painful cough along with body rash. Even newborn babies are struggling with the poor air quality. Doctors say there is a 30 to 40% increase in respiratory ailments.
2-3 वीक्स में हमारे पास जो अस्थमा के हमारे फॉलोअप वाले पेशेंट्स है वो नंबर्स काफी इंक्रीज हुआ है कि उनके जो कंट्रोलर थेरेपी पे थे वो वापस से मतलब उनको एक्यूट अटैक्स में आ रहे हैं करके कि एकदम दम लगना, खांसी होना बहुत तेज और सांस लेने में दिक्कत होना, इस तरीके के पेशेंट आ रहे हैं। जनरली ओपीडी में देख रहे हैं तो 20 to 30% पेशेंट इसी तरीके के वीजिंग के साथ में जो अभी आना स्टार्ट हुआ है, मे बी बिकॉज जो सडन क्लाइमेट थोड़ा ठंडा मौसम हुआ है उसकी वजह से और पॉल्यूशन की वजह से, तो ये सारे जो अस्थमा वाले पेशेंट रहते हैं उस तरीके के काफी पेशेंट हम लोग देख रहे हैं ओपीडी।
मुंबई में हम अभी पिछला 1 महीने में देख रहे हैं कि बच्चों को अलग अलग प्रकार की लंग कंडीशंस हो रही है। ज्यादा हमने एलर्जीज और वायरल देखा है। बच्चे ब्रोंकियोलाइटिस या फिर एलर्जिक राइनाइटिस, एडिनोइड इन्फेक्शंस को लेकर ज्यादा ओपीडी में आ रहे हैं। मुंबई में अभी ये कहना मुश्किल है कि ये सिर्फ पॉल्यूशन की वजह से ही है या फिर वायरल का कोई एपिडेमिक चल रहा है उसकी वजह से भी नंबर ज्यादा बढ़े हैं। एलर्जी का जो प्रमाण है वो पिछले सालों से, सिर्फ कोविड नहीं, कोविड के पहले के सालों में भी जितना एलर्जी हम देखते थे उससे इस साल थोड़ा सा ज्यादा देखने को मिल रहा है।
On Friday, Mumbai's air quality was in the very poor category with an AQI at 303. And between January 5th and 8th, Mumbai recorded an AQI above 300. It was 317 on January 7th. According to SAFAR, a government agency that monitors air quality in major Indian cities, Mumbai usually sees moderate to poor AQI during the winter months. However, for the first time, the city has seen a long period of poor to very poor air quality index. Mumbai's air quality index was in fact worse than Delhi for a week in mid-December. Daily temperature is now about 20 degrees but expected to drop up to 11 degrees, and that could make matters worse. With Pooja Bhardwaj, Sakshi Bajaj for NDTV.
And at least one person has been killed, several others have been injured, 4 of them seriously in a stampede in Odisha's Cuttack district, Cuttack, on Saturday. The incident took place as a large number of people congregated on the Badamba Gopinathpur T-bridge on the occasion of Makar Mela. One woman, identified as a 45-year-old, has died. 4 others seriously injured have been admitted to a hospital in Cuttack city. We're going to go in for a short break. After that, we'll bring you an exclusive interview with the US Assistant Secretary of State for South and Central Asian Affairs.
Are there any takeaways from the India-US forum that we can talk about?
There are a lot. Now, as you know, with any of these conferences, the best discussions happen on the side of the meetings, not in the meetings themselves. But for everyone that I met yesterday, we agreed this was going to be a really big year for the U.S.-India relationship. We have National Security Advisor Doval going to Washington in 2 weeks to talk about critical and emerging technologies. He'll talk about our cooperation on quantum computing, artificial intelligence, 5G networks, and biotechnology. And then we have Secretary of State Blinken coming here in March for the G20 ministerial, and then for the Raisina dialogue. So this is going to be a year when all eyes are on India.
All right. Turning our attention to some security-related issues, I understand that a Pentagon report mentioned that China want U.S. officials not to interfere in ties with India. Was this in reference to the friction in eastern Ladakh, and what was U.S.'s response to that to China?
The United States has been clear for a long time about our policy on India and China. We have said that the border dispute between India and China should be solved peacefully through negotiation directly between the two parties. Now, having said that, we have not seen that the PRC has taken good faith steps to resolve this border conflict. Quite the opposite. We've seen aggressive Chinese moves along India's border, including most recently in India's northeastern states. In 2020, when the Chinese military attacked an Indian border post in the Galwan Valley, the United States was the first country to criticize Chinese aggression and to offer support for India. And we will continue to stand with our Indian partners.
So it's very obvious that the relationship between India and the US is vast. Yes. Under those circumstances, many find it slightly baffling that India still doesn't have a full-time US ambassador. And recently it's been mentioned by one of the leaders from the opposition party, Shashi Tharoor, as well. Is that not a priority for the US to have a full-time ambassador over in India?
Just last week, President Biden renominated Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti as his nominee to be the U.S. ambassador to India. I'm from Southern California, very close to Los Angeles. Mayor Garcetti is a big deal in California. He is a terrific candidate to be U.S. ambassador. He studied South Asian studies at university. He speaks Hindi. He has traveled extensively in India. What you may also know is our system is quite slow. It's very usual that it can take months or even years sometimes to confirm a U.S. ambassador. When I first served as U.S. ambassador, it took me 18 months to get confirmed. I'm confident India will very soon have a fully confirmed ambassador. Until then, my good friend and colleague, Ambassador Beth Jones, is serving capably as our chargé.
And finally, it's been a year since NDTV's Kamal Khan, a veteran and an award-winning journalist, died at his home in Lucknow after suffering a heart attack. He was known for his outstanding reportage of Uttar Pradesh's politics and his elegant language. Kamal was with NDTV for nearly 3 decades, and he's remembered as a legendary reporter whose work stood out for its perceptiveness and integrity and the way in which he delivered hard truths with poetic dexterity. A remembrance meeting was held today in UP's Lucknow to pay tribute to NDTV's Kamal Khan.
कमाल हमसे उम्र में बहुत छोटा था, बट द फैक्ट इज कि वो कई मायनों में हमसे बहुत आगे था जिंदगी में.
तो बहुत जगह जब आप थोड़ा सा रास्ता इधर उधर भटक रहे हो तो आपको सीधा रास्ता भी दिखाए.
बहुत फैसिनेटिंग आदमी थे और जो उनकी अंडरस्टैंडिंग थी उत्तर प्रदेश या लखनऊ या पूरे देश की राजनीति के बारे में, वो बहुत ही यूनिक थी क्योंकि वो उसको बहुत इजी गोइंग तरीके से समझा सकते थे.
कमाल के राम की रिपोर्ट आप यदि देख लोगे ना, आपके रोंगटे खड़े हो जाएंगे कि कमाल के राम कितने कमाल के मुरीद थे. और क्या कोई एक पत्रकार राम को इस ढंग से इंटरप्रेट कर सकता है?